Alrighty, welcome back to Blackbird News, where everything is connected. How y'all doing? Thanks for being here. A bit of a time change today. Just the craziness, compounding craziness going on in my life. It's just almost laughable. I told you that my car broke down last week, and then I rented a car on Monday, and last night while I was driving the car, it died. And it was late at night, and I was far from home, and I was up until like 3 a.m. trying to just like get home and go to sleep. So that's why having a kind of a difficult time having everything adhere to any kind of schedule at the moment, because everything is all over the place. But let's get into it, because this show will probably be very short. As I'm going to have to go deal with said problem. Or try and figure out how I'm going to rectify said problem. I don't know. Yeah, no, I had a scooter. I sold it. It was pretty old and was going to need a lot of repair. And I wish I had held onto it. Trust me, I wish I had my scooter right now, because it would make life really much, much easier. But now I'm like completely vehicleless and at the mercy of friends and my girlfriend to like rescue me from these insane like situations. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to do. I rented a car so that I could, do normal things. And the car broke down, and putting me right back into an incredibly emergency situation, which is just so stupid. Anyways, what can you do? I mean, you can't really. Sometimes things are just out of your control, and you just have to kind of give up control, because you're not going to control it. There's just no way to control it. So, don't know what to say. Anyways, Michael Dowd has passed away. Sad news. Max Wilbert says, I only had the pleasure of speaking with him once, but afterwards I hoped to get a chance to be with him in person. Yeah, he was, a collapse aware person who had a lot of talks with people out there in Doomerland. I never got a chance to speak with him, even though I sent him a couple messages. And I think, I don't know, maybe he didn't know who I was, or maybe he thought I was a little too radical, too green MAGA for him. I don't know. Who knows? It's all good. Michael Dowd was a really intelligent and thoughtful person, and he will be missed. So condolences to the friends and family of Michael Dowd. Let's keep going. Oh, we're live on Callin, Rockfin, YouTube, and on Twitter. You can watch the show on Twitter if you dare. Let's see if Twitter is showing it correctly today. Yesterday they had my video up, but like in a weird kind of way. They weren't really showing it on the screen. They just had it like a link. Wow. They're really going after Hamas. Oh, there's so much going on with that story. Wall to wall coverage of the Palestinian-Israeli war has got my head spinning a little bit. Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks like it's being presented normally there on the Twitter. Yeah. So there's Hurricane Lydia has explosively intensified into an extremely dangerous Category 4 hurricane with winds of 140 miles per hour just hours away from landfall near Puerto Vallarta. Lydia has the potential to be one of the strongest landfalling Pacific hurricanes in Mexico's history. And Mexico actually has been seeing a lot of extreme weather this year already. They've already been, beaten sideways. And they're getting some more. Excuse me. Category 4 Lydia hit Mexico at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight. This is yesterday. With winds of 140 miles per hour and is tied as Mexico's third strongest landfalling Pacific hurricane. Lydia hit the coast about 60 miles northwest of where Mexico's strongest Pacific hurricane on record hit, Hurricane Patricia of 2015. So that is going on, and I'm sure we're going to see just video after video after video of flooding and disaster footage, basically, from Mexico. No, that's not it. I'm having a hard time cutting and pasting, copying and pasting. Forgive me. Category 5 Super Typhoon Bolaven, the strongest storm on Earth, is nearing tropical cyclone perfection. The storm has a near-perfect circular eye surrounded by deep convection. The storm currently has 180 mile per hour winds, 180 mile per hour sustained winds with gusts to 220. But luckily, it will stay out in the open Western Pacific. Weather is amazing. A super typhoon. Don't want to get stuck in a super typhoon. Why is everything running so slow? So slow. My God, man. It could be partly my fault, too. I've got too many things on my desktop. Hey, I got a question. Osama, if you're in the chats. I thought I saw you there. Is it wise to... Oh, I guess probably not wise. I need to hit my computer with something. Probably just some compressed air. Compressed air in a can. Maybe I just answered my own question. Anyways. Compressed air in a can. I think is probably what I need. I probably can't do it with a bicycle pump, though. I can't clean my computer with a bicycle pump. Y'all seen this footage from Argentina? An enormous wildfire closing in on Villa Carlos Paz in Argentina. This huge wildfire heading for this town. Very frightening. Isn't it spring there? It's not even summer yet. Believe it's spring. You thought it was? I actually thought it was Gaza too. The first time I saw that video, I was like, "Is this some Gaza destruction?" No, it is a forest fire. Most horrific video coming out of Villa Carlos Paz in Argentina. It's a tourist resort on the shores of Roque Lake. In the city center is the Reloge Cuckoo. I don't know how to. A huge wooden cuckoo clock. I guess that's how you pronounce it. That's massive. Very scary. So I hope they get that under control before it starts to burn down some buildings, but we'll see. We'll see. The trees look sick to you, Steph C? They look sick to me too. Almost everywhere I go, they look in distress. All right. Quickly cover this from the Bionic Man. Does the theme song go through your head when you say the word Bionic Man? Say the name. Let's see. Osama, you need to pull the bottom cover and use a Q-tip with alcohol to roll up the lint by the air inlets and a vacuum to clean the fans. I can talk you through it. Okay, man. You know what? Maybe I'll. Today is just out of control, crazy, but maybe I can hit you up the next day or two. I will send you a text, sir. Thank you. Yeah, I might. A Penelope P5 screwdriver. Probably have one of those around. I have lots of tools. I'm sure I might have one of those. Thanks, man. Steve Austin says, oh boy, this ain't good. Continued CO2 emissions will cause collapse of the food chain as we know it. Climate crisis is a food crisis, which as an eater, should be a very big deal. Anyways, this is a pioneering, if they'll let me read this, pioneering review of 632 ocean studies says marine food chain will collapse. Oh man, but this is this always kind of bothers me a little bit. The date on this is 2015, which doesn't negate the information. It was just kind of a while ago. That was like 8 years ago. But it doesn't mean that, the general overall view of what's happening. Oh, well, I was going to say, I was watching some, interesting facts, TikTok, right? Some video, I don't know, some video reel somewhere, and so they were, reeling off these interesting facts. And then the guy came upon this, which was sharks have survived 4 of the 5 last mass extinctions. They've been around for 450 years. and we will probably see them go extinct in our lifetime. If you want context around how quickly we are destroying the web of life, we in our industrial civilization may wipe out a species that is so rugged that it survived multiple mass extinctions, but probably not this one. That should put a little quake in your boots, don't you think? It did me when I heard that, and and then I thought, well, yeah, sure, sounds likely, right? But I heard that when I heard that, it kind of was one of those things that put things in a perspective. That made me a little bit, made me a little frightened. A world first review of hundreds of studies on ecological change in the world's oceans suggests a global alteration of the marine ecosystem due to increasing CO2 emissions will result in the collapse of the food chain as we know it. This simplification of our oceans will have profound consequences for our current way of life, particularly for coastal populations and those that rely on oceans for food and trade, said Ivan Nagelkirchen, a marine ecologist at the University of Adelaide in Australia and co-author of the study. While the majority of existing ecological studies looking at the effects of global warming on ocean life tend to focus on individual subject areas, the researchers in this instance took a broader approach, analyzing the data from 632 studies covering a wide range of ocean environments, ecosystems, and marine species. We know relatively little about how climate change will affect the marine environment until now. There has been almost total reliance on qualitative reviews and perspectives of potential global change. Where quantitative assessments exist, they typically focus on single stressors, single ecosystems, or single species. You can thank specialization for that, said Sean Connell, a professor in ecology and environmental science and co-author of the paper. This analysis combines the results of all of these experiments to study the combined effects of multiple stressors on whole communities, including species, interactions, and different measures of responses to climate change. The macro perspective afforded by the researcher's method doesn't paint a positive picture for marine life or those who rely on it. On the whole, the authors find there will be limited scope for species to successfully acclimate to warmer waters and increasing acidification of the world's oceans, leading to large reductions in the diversity and abundance of sea life. Already happening, by the way. And we know this, right? This is not in the future. Sometime in after 2045, sometime around 2050 no, it's happening right now. Been happening. Been wiping out fish species. Been wiping out, whale and shark species. To the point where orcas are fighting back. Like, hey, we are sick of you people. We are sick of y'all. And we're gonna do whatever we can from our we're stuck down here in the ocean, but like if we see one of your ships, we're gonna come up on you. They're pissed. And why not? They're about to go extinct. And they probably feel it. They probably feel it a lot more deeply than we do. At the bottom of the food chain, plankton are expected to thrive, but greater abundance of this food source won't translate to other animals higher up. And there's evidence that plankton is not going to survive or thrive. Not necessarily. Won't translate to other animals higher up in the chain, such as zooplankton and smaller fish, leading to a drastic breakdown in overall food supply, according to the researchers. With higher metabolic rates in the warmer water and therefore a greater demand for food, there is a mismatch with less food available for carnivores, the bigger fish that fisheries industries are based around. Nagelkirchen said there will be a species collapse from the top of the food chain down. While there's very little to feel positive about in this research, let's hope the publication of such alarming findings helps galvanize global efforts to reduce CO2 emissions and lessen the impact of this ecological damage. Totally worked, right? 8 years later, we're doing it. Totally not. We continue to fish the oceans to the very last fish. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to have to end the show soon, but I'm going to do a couple more minutes on Rockfin. Why? Because you know why. YouTubers, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out. And you all know how to support the show. You can do so. There are links below supporting the show where you can go. I can't think of anything else to rhyme with that. All right. I'll see you all tomorrow, and peace. And then we're going to go to Rockfin. And